What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show. We bring together some of the best content creators from the Web3 community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adom. I'll be your host today, but most importantly, we've got an amazing group of guests for y'all. First and foremost, on this fine Monday, we've got CryptoStache in the house. How's it going, Stash?
Good Monday, Yeah.
Doing it?
I don't know. Like, I wish I had more. Like Monday, I don't know.
We're back. It hasn't been a month.
Wait. It's a new month. Yes, it's true. A lot going on this month. I was lazy. Look, guys, hold on. A little heart to heart, real quick. Hold on. Look, the last month or so, I've been lazy. I'm not gonna lie. I've been off my game. I'm bringing it back. But I also saw Cold War Kids last night. Also fun. If you like Cold War Kids, I don't know if you guys do. Anyone's a fan. You guys like music and shit, but it was good.
Stash, you were hanging with the doc, man. You can't say you're lazy the same month you were hanging with Dr. Disrespect. It's not how that works.
Like that was fun, but
that's
drop. Yeah.
Dude, I was literally sitting on my couch with my family and being like, I know that guy. And they're like, you're talking about Inspector Gadget? And I'm like, no, it's CryptoStache.
Go Gadget NFT.
I had a talk with that host after the event. So
did they call you?
It won't happen again. Don't worry.
Did they actually? You Inspector Gadget?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh
I thought that was just something Dub would do. That's amazing. Wow.
No. The announcer didn't know. Look, partly their fault, but like they didn't have names on the screen. So like when the casters were looking at the screen, like you couldn't tell who was playing, right? Because there's no way to know.
Shoutcasting at their best.
But then they showed the picture and they didn't. And he called me Inspector Gadget. I was like, all right, man, that's all right.
That's honestly a compliment in some ways.
Yeah, the Inspector Gadget is more OG than me.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Moving on. Sorry.
Moving on.
I digress.
But Stash had his adventure in Vegas, but we're back to the regular routine of things now. We've got a great show for y'all. We've got some great guests, some new faces, and some returning ones for the show today. First up, a returning face. We've got Dub, our friend and content creator. How's it going, Dub? Happy to have you back on the show, man.
Oh, dude, GM, it's good. The games are heating up. It's getting a lot of fun. I had like my Phantom Galaxies mech mitt last week. I'm pretty hyped. I got an avatar. He's got mutton chops and a mohawk. He's pretty legit, pretty Aussie. I'm pretty hyped on it, and yeah, just enjoying the games that are out there. It's an exciting Q4 in Web3.
Is that an Avalanche beanie I spy on your head?
Yeah, and a parallel T. Like, I'm missing my Solana headphones. I need to figure out where they're at. Once I get that, dude, the trifecta is over.
Wait, Dub, I got some shades. I'm gonna send you.
Dude.
I got like
the
Solana Play GG ones.
You don't have the Solana shades, bro. You don't have the Soul Shades, Dub. You don't have the Soul Shades.
The Soul Shades are fire, dude. I can't believe how slept on that was. To be perfectly honest.
Actually, dude, that was actually one of the coolest NFT like phygital drops that has ever happened.
Yeah, it was so slept on. Dude.
I know. Like everyone here is like blank face. They have no idea. Blank. They're like, huh?
I want to see that. Yeah,
dude, it's all eyes on merch right now, and it's all thanks to Sam and that glorious video he made, dude. Makes me want to come and create my own video.
Thank you for that segue there, Dub, because next up, a new face for our show here around the Metaverse. We've got Sam Steffanina, creator and host of Gamified and Rumble. Sam, excellent to have you on the show, man. Happy to have you on. Hope you're having a good day so far. How's it going?
Great day. Great to be here. Great day to be alive, specifically around the Metaverse, but also just in general. We're crushing it. Got in late last night from Tucson. Totally super awake today and feeling for sure 100%. Not at all tired. Back to you.
Not at all tired.
Hold on. Now, Sam. Now, what kind of mustache do you call that, sir? Is that a mustache that you got right there? Or is it? Are you just eating dinner?
This is an interesting style. It's really popular in Europe. We call it the prepubescent. One day we hope to get to the post-pubescent, but we're not going to keep our hopes up because that's how you get emotionally damaged.
Well, let me tell you, from all of us here at the GIA, I hope your balls drop soon and they grow hair.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, don't worry, Sam. I need to get 100 times optical zoom on this camera right here for you to even see. For you to even see. Yeah.
You keep
Yeah.
hosting around the metaverse, and you might get enough money to get that camera lens with 100
Well,
times off.
hey,
vision.
it actually does zoom. I just don't have the batteries for the remote. But
Oh,
you know, hey,
We'll get you the batteries, man.
yeah.
Next
Well,
episode.
that's on the list. Business expense. And last but certainly not least, another new face on the show tonight. We've got Maddox, the owned community manager. Maddox, happy to have you on, man. How's it going tonight?
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm really happy to see the people here as well. It's a really, really awesome panel to be on. But no, we're just busy, building Game League, no sleep till Game League, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. Nuts. Yeah, I got to say it's a lot of fun and a lot of work, and we're here for it. So a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man. Big week.
Let's
Big
go.
week. And yes, for everyone watching out there, thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you guys haven't been hopping in the own Discord, do so, and you will see Maddox in there all the time, making sure everything's running smoothly and hanging out with the fam. We've got a ton of information coming out about Game League and everything that all the fun stuffs and prizes. So keep an eye on all the own socials and things like that this week for more info. But let's talk about what we came here for today, folks. We've got a big show for y'all. If you guys watching out there didn't know or haven't seen, you must be living under a rock, because Fortnite dropped the OG Fortnite map, and it literally blew like the game out of the water. Record breaking consecutive players happening, 6.1 million players, and that's even more than anyone ever played when the original map was out. So kind of a really, shocking turnout this weekend for Fortnite. We're also going to be taking a look at, will Web3 still be a niche? Will Web3 evolve into just normal games? I want to get your guys' opinions on that too. But first, let's talk about Fortnite. Stash, let me get your opinion on this first, man. Fortnite has been one of the most referred to, one of the biggest titles since it came out many years ago. It ranks among the all right, well, I guess you have an opinion on that, but I'd say it ranks among like the top games of the world. And I think we're here to, in my opinion, see whether or not it might be one of the greatest games of all time. What do you think originally contributed to Fortnite's success when it first came out?
It's a good question. I'm going to answer that with nothing. Fortnite wasn't successful when it first came out. I don't know if you guys were around at that time.
That's true.
But it wasn't like a big hit right away. It wasn't. It took like, I think maybe almost 2 years, really, after the full launch of the game before they really found their stride. So, I think that Fortnite is very accessible. They've made it very easy to play as a game. So anybody can jump in and pick it up very quickly. It's, there's not a lot of complication, right? If you want to compare it to another shooter that's very popular like COD, right? Or Apex. I guess maybe it's a little bit similar to Apex, but I think that they've just made it very approachable for all ages to play this game. Now, when you talk about, is it the best game that's ever been made? With the amount of players, you almost can't argue that fact, right? Look, this was the biggest event they've had that was a gaming-oriented event. Now, there were more people concurrently in Fortnite. I think this was a couple years ago for that Travis Scott concert. I think it was 12 million. Was the record. But that was for a non-game event, right? And what I mean by that, it was a special event where people weren't playing a map or like in battles. They were essentially they were essentially enjoying a social, metaverse experience, we'll say. So I think that seeing them bring this back, shows to me that there's a lot of players out there that probably missed that Fortnite OG map era. And, this gave them an opportunity after the game has blown up and that map has been gone for a while now, right? To be able to jump in and experience that. And I think games being able to do that for this style of game actually is a big booster for short-term, action on the game itself. Now, to me, though, it could also signify that the game maybe is starting to run out of a little bit of steam, right? When you think about like, okay, well, Fortnite has done a lot of things, right? They absolutely crush on partnerships, but the game itself hasn't changed significantly, really. There's been changes, but when you talk about just Fortnite itself, and this goes with a lot of like dynasty style games, is that they haven't really changed that much. I think the biggest change to me that I felt for Fortnite was no build mode when they did that. I mean, that changed the game significantly for a lot of people. Now, and then DeFi Money actually in chat makes a good point. UEFN was one of those things that's brand new that is taking it to another level. But Fortnite, the game itself, I don't know that it's going to last that much longer. You know, the core mode here. And that's what I was kind of getting at with this. Like, you know, have we seen a decline in player base and people being interested or being like very like adamant about like loving Fortnite? Like, man, I love Fortnite. I think there's still millions of players out there that love it, but is it starting to kind of lose its hold on this generation? And is it going to be UEFN, right? People creating their own maps, the user created content. Is that what will take Fortnite into the next level? And will the game start to kind of, you know, the main mode start to fade away? I don't know, man. I mean, I think bringing OG Fortnite back was a great move, but are they worried that they're starting to lose that? And I think that maybe they may be a little bit, to be honest. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but like a little worried about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, this proves that nostalgia is still the #1 indicator of success, right? If you look at movies, if you look at video games, if you look at books, all of them are based on derivative IP, and it's because people fucking love nostalgia. And this is a textbook example of that. I think you can also look to World of Warcraft Classic. People thought that was kind of them trying to rekindle some of their previous glory, but Dragonflight is still doing a fantastic job. People, I forget, I think there's still over 10 million subs monthly between the two, which is friggin' insane. I don't think there will be the same staying power with Fortnite Classic, if you want to call it that, because they don't have the ability to do expansion rollouts the same way they've done with Classic WoW. And getting to level 60 and raiding in Classic World of Warcraft is like a friggin' 3-month experience, but I can log on with the homies and play Fortnite for like 45 minutes and still have that nostalgic experience for a little bit. Do we know, is this sticking around? Is this like a permanent game mode, or is this something they were like a month only? Does anybody know the answer to that?
Let's see.
I believe it's just going to be for, I think it's this season. Is it not just this season? Like, this is OG season, I think. Is it not? I mean, I'm not a big Fortnite player, so I wouldn't know, but from what I saw, I feel like they are only going to bring the map back for this season. I don't know that it's going to be
that
like
makes sense, right? Like, they can't afford to let it fall and like have bad numbers in the public eye, because then it's like, oh, if the nostalgia is not cool, then whatever they're doing in the future is not cool. It's funny too, because like I feel like the last time I was on the show, we had the same conversation, but it was Call of Duty. Like, it's clearly just like it's a standard marketing play at this point. And Fortnite's just playing it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, in classic Fortnite fashion too, at some point they're gonna have to change it. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna repeat the same sort of like ending, and see, because I remember back in the day, Fortnite, like the first few seasons I was playing when like Battle Royale came out, and shout out to Hastronaut in the chat. The reason I stopped playing too is because, you know, it got to the point where people would just build like,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
building was crazy, man.
a literal castle in 5 seconds in front of you, and then it's like, all right, well, it's a skills issue. I know, I'm just bad. All right, I quit. Like, fine.
I was never ready to go to my subset of buttons just to start playing a new game, which was building. So I did. I avoided the build mode. I definitely wasn't a big fan of that one. I was one of those players that came back around when build mode was taken out. And we were able to play just battle royale with the friends, just playing a shooter, an FPS game. What's always impressed me is like the amount of partnerships that Fortnite's been able to have. I mean, obviously it's a bunch of clout chase too, like because they're popular, they get more partners, but I just looked it up, 183 partners over their seasons that they've been able to acquire. I mean, I don't know where with that alone, I can't see them going anywhere, because all these partners are just incredible partners too. It's not just like light duty partners. These are huge. NBA, Marvel, Star Wars, Dragon Ball, Elder Scrolls, Futurama. They've got
Naruto,
a little everything. You know what I mean? There's something for everyone. Yeah. So it's
UEFN is their hedge, right? That's them hedging their bet against the future of people getting sick of Fortnite. And so it allows them to become Roblox light, where they can make anything in the Fortnite engine and, sustain forever. And so I think it really comes down to, will that be successful or not? Do they have enough firepower, enough people? Do they make the tools easy enough to use? Are those people getting rewarded enough for using the tools and making cool stuff, etc., to sustain that? And if they can do that, I mean, who knows? I thought Minecraft was going to be dead like 10 years ago, and it's probably more popular than it was 10 years ago. Roblox, the same thing.
Mods are going strong. And I mean, I just recently heard in a group of folks that there's a 16-year-old who's making damn good money building maps in Fortnite, and he's going to come on and show us how he does it. And he's 16. I mean, so the new era of FU money is coming, and they're doing it right. Whatever they've learned from our mistakes, they're learning well. User generated content, I feel, is like absolutely a must in whatever is going to break us into the next bull. But honestly, like a user generated economy builds that economy and takes a lot of it takes a lot of the work off of the team, the developers, because then they're not the ones building the content. The community is, and now the community is not only building content, but they're invested in the content, and it helps the world go around. Let's do it.
Yeah. UGC was where I was going to go next too, which is great. And Sam, you mentioned two games. I'm so used to saying projects, and it's like, because it's like it's a startup. Yeah, well, two games that, and I think the title of the segment is a little disingenuous, because maybe Fortnite could arguably be the best game ever, but I don't think it is, at least right now. The two games you mentioned, Roblox and Minecraft. Well, and even maybe World of Warcraft. I don't think that at one point maybe was the greatest game of all time, but not anymore, I would say. But Roblox and Minecraft, I would say, are probably two of, maybe GTA, are two of like the greatest games of all time at this point, because of how long they've been around. And they basically founded the game itself on UGC, and contributed, what I probably think, to what sparked off now every game is having to like have a talk about how do we get players contributing to what's going on here.
Roblox definitely did that. Yep, Roblox definitely. They showed people the power of a UGC platform where, it could look like complete trash. It doesn't matter, right? If you got kids there and they're playing it and there's interesting content, they'll just play through it, man. It doesn't matter how good it looks, But
one more thing I wanted to add to this engine topic too is there's a non-zero chance that Fortnite is being subsidized aggressively by Unreal Engine in order to indoctrinate the next 100,000 developers into using Unreal Engine instead of Unity, especially with that news that Unity put out. Everybody knows they're going bankrupt. Unity has 70% market share, right? Unreal wants a big slice of that. And so it doesn't even matter if Fortnite is necessarily successful at turning it from, 1 million people using it to 10 million people using it. If they can get 100,000 people building projects, getting funding to make bigger things, starting studios, etc., on Unreal Engine instead, if they get 3% revenue share on every game that's created that way, there's some like fancy math they might be able to do to make it make sense and to keep subsidizing them doing this, which can make the numbers look really good, right? If you pour enough money into it, sure, you can get 5 million people using it in perpetuity. If you're pouring, $50 million a month into getting people using it, or whatever the number may be.
Yeah, one of the key things I've been waiting for is like when my group of gamer friends, for whatever reason, gets into Fortnite because of some random EFN or what have you, because there's always been this weird target demographic miss with the kids that are too cool for Fortnite or whatever. And as soon as there's like these games that break that barrier, get gamers to install a game that they thought wasn't cool before because there's this cool new thing, then they got something. I just haven't seen that yet.
No, it's true. I will say you're right with that, because I don't jump into Fortnite and play. I'm not a Fortnite player, right? But when they were doing the like Star Wars collab, this was like a couple months ago, dude. Man, that was so cool. I was like, I don't know, man. I might want to just jump in there and like buy some skins and just like start playing. But that's what you're talking about. Those are the cool things that will keep something in dominance. So Epic does a really great job of knowing that and understanding that. And like Maddox was saying, with having so many great partners, and not little partners, man. These are like the top cream of the crop partnerships, right? The ones you want for your
Literally
game.
everyone.
Everyone wants, right? But those could, they always have a string of things that they say they're going to keep people engaged, and they're really good at that, And like you said, with UEFN, that helps them to be able that gives them an engine or a factory to produce as many stepping stones as they can as fast as possible. Before, like, think about it, right? Like, as a company, you can only create and build so many stepping stones, right, yourself as a company. But like you guys were saying, once you unlock these powers with UEFN, now you have your entire community doing that and creating those stepping stones for you. And so there's going to be a hit breakout map that everyone's like, I gotta go play that Fortnite map or that Fortnite based cool experience because it's so different and weird than anything else out there. And I think that we're definitely close to that. You know, you see some successes like Only Up. Now they didn't use they did. I don't think they. Well, no, was that on? Yeah, that was on UEFN. No, I'm not UEFN, but that was on Unreal Engine.
Unreal.
So I mean, think about doing like that same experience, but like how much faster could they have done it? You know, in something that's a little bit more streamlined for basic creation with UEFN, which is kind of like a watered down.
That's what they did.
Yeah, they did do that.
They did do that in
More,
Fortnite.
it had more players than the original game.
Yeah.
From what I understand. Too.
Because you could do it in multiplayer, and people were going nuts over it, making their own Only.
No,
Up
I know, but what
level.
I'm saying is that was triggered by the first game, right?
Yes.
And then they went
sure.
and made the map afterwards, and people were, and so that's what I mean. So like, you know, you can get those events or those things where it's like, I gotta go check this out. Even though I'm not necessarily a fan of Fortnite, I love what Only Up was doing. That's going to, like what Dub was saying, that's going to incentivize me to jump in and want to download. So
For sure.
yeah, I mean,
and those, I mean, we like, so okay, so a little, my background comes from creating in the sandbox, and like one of the recipes for replayability, of course, competition leaderboards, but the other one is just simplistic, you know, mindless games. Platformers are great for that. How fast go from point A to point B, you know, with whatever parameters. And so Only Up was genius for just literally there's one direction of the entire game, and then you've got, you know, user love it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different, something engages everybody, and it just it explodes. So I don't know, man. You know, Fortnite. You know, we'll see. Like I said, it's one of those games where, like, it's just the most popular game that I don't play.
Yeah, exactly. Same. Except for the UAFN, like when the Nike thing popped up, it was like, okay, I'm downloading and playing.
And there you go. There's a great thing. So you talking about, like, you know, are they gonna? I think really the only reason Fortnite doesn't lose its dominance, honestly, is because of those things. I don't think it's because the game itself, the core game, is like the best, greatest game of all time. I think it's everything else that they're doing in addition to those things that will kind of solidify it in that position of dominance.
But yeah, just like Dub said, I mean, I hadn't played Fortnite in, I don't know, like six years or something like that. And you know, when the UEFN news came out, I was like, well, shoot, man, like I gotta download this and check it out, you know. And so it's interesting to see what they've done with UEFN. And honestly, you know, what Epic is doing with Unreal Engine and now with UEFN and Fortnite, letting people get their hands on it a little bit more accessible than like if you were to, you know, kind of develop your own Unreal Engine game directly from the software. You know, people are starting to talk about this is actually what like the first sort of step towards, or at least the next step towards, like having some kind of metaverse that actually exists, right? And
they're already doing it. I mean, like, it's not the next step. I mean, Fortnite is the best example.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about, like, you know, I just asked this question on my Twitter yesterday or this morning. What you know, how do you define a metaverse? Like, what, you know, everyone has a little bit of a different definition, but like if you really want to look at something in a real world example, I mean, Fortnite is a great example of that. You know, tons of interoperability when it comes to different brands and IPs. And then now with UEFN, I mean, that's basically what we're talking about. All these experiences, you know, all interconnected in a you know, easy way.
Well, and that's the sort of thing we talk about in Web3 all the time, which I feel like hasn't been done very well necessarily with the interconnectivity between stuff. I mean, like you look back at like what Engine was doing, not to say RIP Engine, but RIP Engine a little bit. But like
coming back.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, well, what they were doing with the interchangeability of the assets and the games that they had on their platform was really cool, and I feel like that's something that in Web3 at least has been kind of like forgotten in a sense. But I want to segue into our next topic here and ask you guys a bit about that, and in the sense that we talk about Web3 games here all the time, and everyone here is you know at least sees something in Web3 gaming. I want to get your guys' opinions on like where this whole movement is going, and if it's going to stay like a niche forever. Because in my opinion, I think that like Web3 games is just this transitionary period we're in. I mean, shoot, 2.5 years ago, that term didn't even exist. We were calling it like crypto gaming or blockchain gaming, and then people were like, "Man, that sounds so nerdy, like crypto gaming and blockchain gaming. You guys got to come up with like a better term." And Web3 was born, and now it's not even any better
It's so
in my
much
opinion.
better. So wow.
It's so much better. Um, but my hypothesis is that eventually, like people will just be playing games that have a better player experience built upon the better technology underneath it. Um, you know, Del, let me get your opinion first, man. I mean, what like when someone says Web3 gaming, like what does that mean to you?
I mean, to me, it means our market and where we're at, and these games that decide to be blockchain integrated, and they just blanket want to call themselves Web3 games, which is fine. I mean, it's super funny to give an analogy. Like, I specifically remember being at Games Beat Next 2 years ago, and Roblox was talking about this same topic of that UEFN and Fortnite would be going after, and like people were even making fun of the Roblox people back then, and it's like 2 years, just the everyone will start chasing this tech, and we're already seeing it. I mean, Zynga's already doing it. It's going to be a huge mainstream thing. I mean, the way I don't think it's going to be called Web3 gaming. It'll be called like blockchain, something with chain or token or coin or what have you. But yeah, I mean, it's it's going to be a rocky road, but it's for sure not going to like fade away and stop happening in my mind.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think about, like you mentioned, 2 years ago, people were laughing at like the Roblox folks saying that like this is what's going to happen next. And 2.5 years ago, at least at least crypto native stuff, there wasn't much. I mean, I think everyone liked to think there was a lot going on with like the craziness and mania behind Axie Infinity, and I mean, there was a lot of NFT PFP mania happening, but the gaming side of things, really the scholarship model, I feel like was what a lot of people got behind to like which was like like Web3 gaming was born of
Ponzi-nomics,
like
sir. Ponzi-nomics.
of Ponzi-nomics, like literally of Ponzi-nomics. Maddox, let me ask you, man. I mean,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
in the past 2.5 years, do you think we've seen significant improvement in the quality of like what we call Web3 games?
Certainly.
And like how much do you think they've improved since then?
So 100%. Okay, because we go from PFP projects where okay, so I look at Web3 evolution as we're just scratching the surface. If we're talking about this as an invention, we might have discovered how to carve a wheel out of a rock with blockchain technology. Okay, we're just getting going. I think all of us on this panel can say that we're all older than Google. I think a lot of us, I don't know if any of us can say we're as old as the internet, but it's not much further than that as a whole. So I like to look at Web3 as almost like what people thought of the internet back in 1983, right? Not long ago. And so we've seen the development from project like connecting a JPEG onto metadata on the blockchain. We've seen Web3 integrations into games, and we're like, I don't think we're anywhere close to where we're eventually going to get. We're already seeing very, very interesting use cases going on. We're seeing how we can take these in-game assets to essentially create in-game economy assets, resources, and activities, and mark achievements. I think we're just getting started. If I knew all those answers, I think we'd be there by now, and I think we'll get there. But yeah, I'm very excited to see the evolution, and that's why I'm here. I'm here because this is the trend that I've been following and chasing through game testing and watching all these amazing companies integrate blockchain technology into games. I think next is definitely going to be like I talk about those secret ingredients a lot. You know, user generated content is definitely one of those things. The other one is interoperability. When we can, you know, not only buy the Fortnite skin, but when I can own the Fortnite skin and trade it with Dub because I like that. The other one he has better, or sell it to him because now I have it and he doesn't. Haha, he missed that season, so I can sell it to him for a nice hefty price. Or right. You know, we take our Fortnite skins that we earned in one season or on one battle pass, and hey, we're done playing Fortnite this month. Now I want to go play Halo, but I want to bring that stupid banana into Halo, and now I'm going to go play Halo in a banana suit. You know what I mean? I want to do interoperability next. That's going to be when games are realizing that there is enough meat on the table in in-game funding, right? There's enough gamers and enough money pumped into games every year that it's not my company against Sam's company. It's not Sam's company against Adom's company. We're all in this whole thing called gaming, right? We're all trying to do the same kind of thing. I'm a studio, you're a studio, and we can all eat at this table. Now let's work together. How do we do that? How do I take my resources and make it something really cool for your game? The possibilities are endless. I've already seen a lot of really cool companies get together and say, hey, you know, our IPs aren't that far off one another. You know, I remember being a part of one kind of side conversation. They said, you know, we could totally like add you into our lore. You're only like a couple hundred years, you know, into the future for us. We could totally make a pit stop at your location. It would, you know, it was a really cool kind of thing. So when interoperability takes the stage, when we adopt the fact that like that owning your assets is a whole lot greater than borrowing them from the company that may shut down and take them from you one day, it becomes a reality to everyone. I think we'll be in a whole new era of what this all means. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it.
One of what I will say is one of the coolest things about Web3 games, in the sense of Web3, is that like the like you said, the possibilities that you know can become where studios are open to working with their communities to build like them into the lore of the game or part of the game and things like that, which does happen sometimes in you know the traditional space, but not nearly as much as it has, or studios are open to it, at least in what they're building here. I mean, we've talked with a couple of people about like turning the GIA, you know, as into like building that into part of like the game's lore, which would be really cool. But you know, and
can I add something on those topics?
Yeah, of course, Sam.
Can I? Thanks. Okay, so you know we have one topic which is Web3 inevitable in some sense, kind of what we're asking, and then we have another topic which is how much have games improved in Web3, and I just want to take a step back from the idea that any of this stuff actually has to be good yet, and I want to use a few examples. Okay, first off, you have music, right? First, you start off with records. The sound quality sucks ass. They're expensive. They break. They have all kinds of problems. But they accomplish one task, which is you can listen to your favorite songs over and over and over again. You can get, you know, money if you're a musician that you couldn't have gotten before, because before that it was all live shows. And then you get CDs, which are a bit better. But the next problem is CDs usually bought like 16 songs. You really only wanted 2 of them, but they still charged you like $15. And you had to go to the record store or whatever. And then out of that, we get LimeWire, right? And all of a sudden we can get in Napster, a more relevant example. You get all this digital music, but the problem is that you get, you know, hacked, you get like child pornography on your computer, like horrible stuff that has all these like fatal flaws that say like Napster's not good. They get sued left and right. It's insane amounts of copyright infringement, huge amounts of problems. But what it proved is that people wanted digital music and they were willing to go through a lot of hoops to get that digital music. And specifically, they're willing to jump through hoops for not entire albums, but single songs. Mm-hmm. A lot of the downloads, if not 80% plus of the downloads, were one song, not an entire album. And so
that's
it proves,
you got a bunch of NPCs out there, man.
It proves people want one song. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not NPCs, dude. These are real people that just want to listen to the same shit 24/7.
But
And
the same,
so-
but the same
who
song
comes
over and over again. Like there's like, all right,
Yeah,
give
I'm-
me one song
No,
off the album.
I'm
just listen to that
super,
shit
I'm
50 times
super
in a row.
guilty of when I like a song, listening to it like 15 times.
Who
in a
does
row.
that? What's wrong with
Yeah,
you guys?
dude,
My girl does that
I'd
too.
be- I'd be
Listen to the
doing
same
that
song
too.
like 20 times in a row. I'm like, how could you listen to the same song 20? Just listen to the whole album and vibe out, man.
See,
Why is
Stash
that
was
thing
on
gone? I'm
Stash
sorry,
was
I'm
on
sorry, Sam, I'm sorry.
Kazaa, not Kazaa Lite, but he was on Kazaa downloading the discographies of all these artists. Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
exactly.
great analogy.
See,
Keep going with it. I'm digging it.
Sure, and then well, that's kind of where it wraps up. But it shows that we wanted digital stuff, so we get iTunes, right? They say this is digital, and you can get one song at a time instead of paying for everything. But my point is, all of those things were fucked up. They had all these issues that I'm sure people before they got popularized were like, dude, this will never work. Like people will never download stuff where they can get hacked and they can get child porn on their computers, and then the fucking FBI can come to their door. I mean, that's literally happened. Like this was horrible stuff. My parents were like, guys, don't do that. And my brother would still go in the computer and be like, I need the new Jennifer Lopez album so bad. It was crazy, the things that we were willing to do. And so my point is, if you just present people with a better alternative for some of the problems that they're currently facing, even if it's not a perfect solution, it will get adopted for the virtues of the problems that it's solving, as long as the problems that it's facing aren't so insane. Like Napster doesn't work if people have to pay $7 for every download they make on the internet, which is kind of what we're facing with gas transactions. Like imagine if internet was that expensive. Okay, it doesn't work. But the internet was pretty much free. As long as you had enough internet to download a song, it was $0 for you. So we're getting to the point where gasless transactions are a thing. We got layer 2s, we got layer 3s, we got people like Igor, Free NFT, minting 1 billion NFTs on ETH for like $100. Like we're getting there. We're solving some of the problems, and that's all we need to do in order to get to mass adoption. It might not be the iterations that we see right now. It might not be the dream of interoperability to the extent that we want to see it, but we're getting there, and people will take some of this and run with it. There's no way to put a genie back in the bottle. And I'll say again, our last preface that I want to put on this is, this isn't coming from me, right? I'm not smart enough to tell you guys this, but I'm smart enough to look at Koji and Wild Paul and John Smedley, and John Smedley's the guy that made EverQuest. People don't really know, but he's making a Web3 game. These guys are saying, guys, trust me, like there's something here. And I'm just smart enough to go, okay, well, if they're in, like I'm in, okay?
Follow the
That's
money,
a good
man.
point, man. But let me ask you on that, Sam. So when you talk about, you know, the age-old question, what problems are we solving? Because that's all good technology needs to do. All good technology needs to do is solve a problem, right? Are we solving enough problems in Web3? Is this technology solving enough of the real-world problems that people have, or are we trying to solve a problem that people just don't care that much about? When you talk about the financial aspect of it, right? And that goes with the bigger crypto, but also when you drill down just to gaming. Do gamers care enough about those, or do enough gamers care enough about those elements where we're actually solving a problem that enough people are going to care about, where we get that same kind of network effect?
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, go ahead, Doug.
No, I mean, we're going to see it when we see the cycle of the games, because like the main problem is we went and bought a game for $60. We played it. We had fun with it. Then when we got to get a little bit of money back from it at GameStop, we got $2. And now the idea is like,
No, it's $5.
Okay.
$5, sir. $5.
But $5. Wow, you must have paid for the
Store
premium. But
That's
like,
like
yeah,
do
no,
is
it's always
treat
for
video.
credit. No, they never cracked open the cash register, guys.
You can have $2 cash or $5 in
Yeah.
credit.
but
How
if we
about
can
that?
change that equation, right, where it's like, oh my god, if you're an alpha guy and you get on this game, like you might actually make some money while playing the game. Like we can't ignore the financial aspect of this, and I think blockchain doesn't. And it also provides a better way for gamers to explore more games without like having to bankroll the entire experience.
Something I would add to that, Dub, is you always have to ask yourself, what's the value for each side of the transaction, right? For us, we always like to talk about interoperability. We always like to talk about ownership. Those are clear value applications for us as the gamers, because we're all gamers, and that's the perspective we like to look at things through, the lens that we like to look at things through. But I would say for the games too, they have to be incentivized to actually implement the thing, right? To spend the money, to do the research, to buy the technology, to rent the thing, to use the software as a service, whatever it ends up being for them, they have to make enough money off of it, or think it's a good enough idea. And I think that closer and closer we are getting to wallet data being that reason for them to be inspired to do this, because we see ATT, right? App tracking transparency. It was the law that affected mobile gaming on iPhones, and cost to acquire, CPI, cost per install, has gone up over 2x for mobile developers on Apple specifically since that happened. And I think that we also like to talk about owning our own data. Well, wallets are like hyper trackable, right? That is their thing. They are the ultimate fingerprint. The only issue with them is you can have multiple of them, so it's not necessarily a completely accurate fingerprint, but it is some representation of these people. And so I think from the perspective of the games themselves, they have the incentive to provide these things so that on the back end they are not subject to what Apple is doing or to what Android is doing, right? They take 30% and then they tell you can't track anybody and you have to spend an insane amount to do. Or if you do want to track them, you have to use their service to track them, and then they price gouge on the service. There's a lot of reasons for them to want these solutions.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's like Animoca's mission in a nutshell, right? Like that's last time I heard Yatsu speak, that was exactly the idea for Mochaverse ID and everything they want to do there. I just wonder, as like big conglomerates like Animoca has a major foothold of Web3, are they going to just fall into like Apple's footsteps and start taking that 30%? Or are we going to really see a gigantic decentralized network that doesn't have this big money sucker taking out 30% of the entire market?
And honestly, I think that we won't. I don't think that, because when you talk about like, you know, is Web3 niche? Is there such thing as Web3 gaming? You know, a lot of people say it's not, it's just gaming, Web3, you know. But I take a little bit of a contrarian stance on that. And what I will say is that, you know, calling it Web3 gaming as an industry helps us to define the aspects that set us apart from the way other gaming studios or gaming organizations or other niches in gaming develop their games and have relationships with their community, right? You know, as Sam was saying before, interoperability is important. Transparency is huge, I think. And also, you know, the tenets of, you know, owning your own items and assets, a little, you know, decentralization when it's needed. I think these things are incredibly important, and those are the elements that set us apart. Now, when you say, okay, well, eventually it'll just be called gaming, guys. It's just stupid. Why do you call it Web3? Well, no, I honestly don't think that's the case. Not every game is going to incorporate NFTs. Not every game needs to. Not every game is going to need to incorporate this technology, but lots and lots of games will. But it's not going to be for everybody, I don't think. And so when you look at that as being kind of like, you know, this idea of what ideals do we hold true to our you know, to our community, to our project, to our VCs, the people funding it. And I think that those ideals are kind of in contrast to the, you know, super conglomerate that we see with Apple and Google and their dominance over these platforms. I mean, like, do they have monopolies? They kind of do. Now, not the traditional sense of a monopoly. There is some competition, but I mean, you know, if you're not on the Apple Store and you're not on the Play Store, then you're not anywhere. You know, and you're beholden to those things. So I do think, I honestly do feel that, you know, the support of these organizations like an Animoca or some of these other, you know, larger platform entities here in Web3, there are, you know, this is what I want to think, is that our communities are going to hold us more responsible, more accountable than you would see in a traditional, you know, corporate environment, right? Where they don't do things like this, and they never have. And that is part of what we're changing here with Web3 as a technology, as a niche, and as a like I said, as an ethos of how we go about this. You know, I would be devastated if Animoca came out with something to compete with, like, theoretically we'll say with like an Apple store or you know, and then it was 30%. I'm like, come on, guys, are you serious? You know this is a problem. This is a part of the reason why we're here. So I would be very disappointed if that were the case, honestly.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's interesting. I don't know what Apple is, why they're taking that 30%. Well, actually, I do know why they're taking that 30%. They love money, But
I mean, really, like, don't know why they're like, bro, 30%. Like, if you can get away with it, they take 40. They
Yeah.
take 50. They thought they could get away with it. Are you shitting me?
It's
yeah,
all
but
distribution, right? If Honkai Star Rail is willing to spend $400 million on their marketing budget, they're like, or you could just distribute it through us, and we'll only take 30% of the $500 million you make next month. Like that's a budget deal for them. Shit.
yeah, and it's. I mean, I tend to agree with you, Stash, that they do like it is almost a monopoly with the Apple Play Store or the Apple iOS Store and the Play Store. It's like they should pull like if 50% of all cell phone owners could tell you what a like an APK file is, then maybe it's not a monopoly.
Oh,
But I don't
bro.
know. But I don't think 50%
You're
of cell
asking
phone
way
owners,
too much there.
yeah, know what a .apk is.
They're like,
So
APK, what? No.
it's like, yeah,
Yo, I just
You-
ate there last week, Dom. I eat there all the time.
you have to, yeah,
They
you
have the
you
best pizza.
wait.
Wait, no, you said TPK?
you have to go to your settings and you have to turn off the security setting and says allow your phone to like load unregistered apps. Oh no. No, but you know, I that you're right. That would be a tragedy if Animoco or any of the bigger like players in the space, launchers, you know,
Yeah.
or incubators, anything like
They
that,
get it.
did something like that.
I mean, like that's the whole point. Is that we're kind of, you know, pioneering a little bit of a different model in a lot of different ways, different financial model which affects industries in some significant ways, I'd say, and obviously gaming is a huge one, right? When you talk about how much money is in gaming, man, you know, this is a battle, guys. Don't get this wrong and think we're just here having fun and that what we're doing and every word we say and every piece of content we make and every community member we onboard and every person that understands these ideals in this ethos, that they're not in this battle to try and fight against some of these powers that be, because like I said, they'll continue to dominate and they'll continue to suck as much as they possibly can from us, even if it doesn't warrant it, right? Do they really need to take 30% to make ends meet at Apple?
Yeah, I mean, and hold on to your britches there, Stash, because there's another mega conglomerate that is kind of tiptoeing around us, and it's called Amazon. Who knows what kind of piece of margin that they're licking their lips at right now? Like,
Yeah.
something, you know.
94%.
Well, hey, at least we have some good some quality games building in native Web3 games building in the space that live that ethos. You know, like Maddox said, I think we have seen a ton of improvement over the last couple of years in the quality of these games, and even I think some that are starting to have the ingredients, the ingredient X, let's say, the Powerpuff Girls ingredient X of you know, breaking out into what could be like a standout hit in just gaming in general. With our last little segment of the show tonight, our lightning round, that's what I want to ask you guys. For tonight's lightning round, I'm going to ask you guys, which of any current Web3 game do you think has the best chance of blowing up, say like Fortnite, and in one sentence, why? And if you don't think there's any games, then why not? So we're going to go in order of Maddox, Dub, Sam, and then Stash. All right, Maddox, you're up first, man. Which current Web3 game do you think has the best chance of blowing up, like Fortnite, for example, and in one sentence, why?
To do my best without getting myself in trouble. I don't think I can land on one. I mean, I'm wearing a metalcore hat, but I think something like metalcore shrapnel is going to do very, very well. And the reason why is it's because it's something that we can recognize. It's very similar to our Call of Duty, our Apex, Legends. It's a fast-paced shooter game, something exciting and, you know, militaresque. It's something we can recognize. So it's going to be easily adoptable by those that play similar games. And then, yeah, I think that's going to be a huge one just to get people in the door.
Everyone refunding their Modern Warfare 3 purchase right now. That's
Yeah.
the target. Yeah, that's who's coming for metalcore.
Right.
Good luck.
Trade it in for an extraction pack.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dub, you're up next, man. Which current
Dude.
Web3 game do you think is the best chance of blowing up like Fortnite, and in one sentence, why?
To the Fortnite level, I think it can only be Wild Card. And I think it's because it's actually unrecognizable. Like it's a new thing that gamers are going to be interested in trying out and playing and getting their hands on. It truly feels like you're inside League of Legends in a way, in a new way, in a different way. It's one of those like easy to learn, hard to master game loops that is going to be really successful once they're built out.
Easy to learn and hard to master is always like I'm going to spend countless hours of my time like it's becoming sweaty trying to that's League of Legends for me, you know, like or at least it was. We're not going to look back
top lane,
on
Dom.
those
You
dark
a top
times. No,
lane?
I'm a Yasuo main.
Oh,
Believe it or
dude, it
not,
fits
yeah.
so well. I should have known.
But yeah, no, Sam, you're up next, man. So
right,
of any game, which of the current Web3 games do you think has the best chance of blowing up like Fortnite? And in one sentence, why?
A sentence is hard, and my two predecessors have failed, so I'll loosely abide by the rules. But I'm gonna say something you guys will fucking hate. I'm gonna say Sandbox, the Sandbox,
Oh,
which does not jive at all in our crowd. But it's because, yeah, there you go. You said what can blow up like Fortnite night, and they have their own creator system. Obviously, Maddox is or was one of them. I think the art style is super. Something that people are super comfortable with. I think that it actually has the pathway to mass adoption super easy on your computer. I think that we can potentially get there with Sandbox, and especially because they have so much money, they have Web2 creators, etc. But you know, I liked Dub's answer a lot too. I think Metalcore as well. Or sorry, not Metalcore. I think what did you say, Dub? Wildcard, of course. A genre-bending game is a really good example too, because if they can't get it anywhere else, that's where they'll go, right?
Awesome.
I agree with Sam.
Sandbox. Honestly, Sandbox.
No, you can't take yours back, man.
Like of all the
He's always shaking. I didn't even. Oh my god, you're a disguise master just like me, dude.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
I'm like running. I'm looking around. I have a piece of merch somewhere. It's
of all the times we've like, you know, had the question of like what game is gonna be the game, you know, that's the first time we've definitely had Metalcore and Wildcard mentioned before, but I feel like that's the first time someone has said the Sandbox, which you know, you make a really good point with the elements that they have in place to do so. But Stash, last but certainly not least, which current Web3 game do you think has the best chance of blowing up like Fortnite? And in one sentence, why?
Everyone's picks are good. I will say that to start off. My personal pick is going to be Dead Drop. And the reason why is because the game itself has a lot of elements that everyone else is talking about. It's familiar, yet slightly different, right? Not too different, but enough different, right? And, you know, with the fact that you have Dr. Disrespect behind this, you know, it's a massive marketing push with already massively established, you know, gaming network. And so I think those things will really help to push it into the forefront and get people to play it. And with what they're doing, like I said, it's just slightly different. Not too different, but different enough, right? Where people are familiar with it, but, you know, it still gives them a little bit of a game loop that is outside of that norm. Now, I will say, like, Wildcard is a great example, but I feel like maybe it's a little bit too outside the wheelhouse, you know? There's a lot of good games. And look, I love Wildcard, man. It's definitely, like, one of my top picks for this. If I was going to say top 3, it would be probably number 2. But look, Wildcard, like I said, it has elements in it that I think are going to turn people off, right? The card element, I think, for some people, just not a thing they want to do. For some reason, it's just like card elements turn people off. Shrapnel also good. I think that, you know, it's going to be a fun game. I don't know if it's going to have that, like, long-term lasting power. I think that'll come down to the UGC and what they kind of do with you know, the game itself. But I don't see anything there that beyond, like, the Web3 tech that is significantly different than what we've seen in any other shooter, right? I don't know. But Sandbox I love. I'm also a Sandbox creator. I don't know if you guys know, but making my own game in the Sandbox currently right now. Man.
I made a game in the Sandbox too.
And they gave you a backpack? I didn't even get a backpack, dude.
I need to go to more events. That's all. But yeah.
Well, honorable mention from one of I can't believe he has this as his name for YouTube in the chat, but Jerome Party at My Place Powell says for his pick is Illuvium, which also honorable mention there. Or Captain Jackie says or Star Atlas. Space games are back. Gen X Crypto Space games are back, baby. And shout out also Web3 Gamer Icy in chat. Dub, your camera is looking excellent, sir. But
shucks.
but yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're running out of time here for this week's episode of Around the Metaverse. If you're still hanging out with us in chat, thanks for sticking around. And all you guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Maddox, Dub, Sam. Well, Maddox and Sam, thank you guys for your first time here on Around the Metaverse. It was awesome to have you guys on the show. Dub, thank you for coming back. Stash, thank you for having us, of course. And we'll
I provide no value except that I bring on really awesome people to talk with me.
We'll have another round of awesome people for you guys to watch us talk with next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. But that is all we have tonight, folks. We out.
Bye, guys.